You're listening to The Upland Rookie, a podcast presented by Upland Brits, B Pro Kennels, Final Rise, and Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Upland Rookie Podcast. So glad you're joining me today. This is episode 64 with Gary Shaw. Gary Shaw and I talk a whole lot of prairie chicken. We get to know Gary and his story more. Talk about traveling hunting and what that looks like for a lot of us. A lot of us don't naturally just grow up traveling out of state into other areas to chase new birds, but we get into kind of what led Gary to be chasing birds all over the country with some amazing setters that he's running. Talk about a cocker, of course. We can't get through an episode of this podcast without talking about a damn cocker. So those will come up at some point in the conversation as well. We're going to roll through sponsors before we jump into the episode. B Pro Kennels. If you're thinking about a dog box, especially a custom dog box, and something that is going to last a long time, and something that you can really customize and set up for your needs and how you hunt, how many dogs you have, you're going to want to check out B Pro Kennels, bprokennels.com. Reach out to Ben Proctor on Instagram, social media, whatever it might be, and start dreaming, start designing what that custom dog box is going to look like for you, and get it dialed in for hunting. So I've been rocking my 3-hole box now for quite a while, and it's a solid piece of equipment that is living in the back of my truck, and has been a phenomenal addition this season. Final Rise gear. Final Rise, cannot say enough good things about Final Rise. I know I posted another thing today about their field gloves from Final Rise. Just been a great glove. I know there's not some people like gloves, some people don't. It's personal preference, but these are comfortable gloves. Unless it was super hot out, I think I'm going to be wearing these gloves all the time. Really short cuff, very comfortable. They're making premium Upland gear. So check them out at finalrise.com. They got the Legacy vest, the Summit vest, and the little bit newer Sidekick vest. So they got some great options with great customization. So make sure to check them out at finalrise.com. I also want to thank Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. Inukshuk, cannot say enough good things about Inukshuk. Man, every time my dogs have been out, whether it's roading, conditioning, hunting, whatever it might be, they look good. They have the energy to sustain long runs, go the distance, and recover fast for the next day. So Inukshuk Professional Dog Food, super high calorie count per cup. Dogs are healthy. Their poops are normal, which I know is kind of weird to say, but they're consistent. I'm not having weird loose stool, random times. It's consistent. It's small, and these bags of food stretch super far just because the calorie count's so high. So I've been super happy with it. These are what some of the mushers and that are using up in Alaska and Canada, who are running large sled dog teams. So you got a sporting dog, a hunting dog, check them out, Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. They also got some options to do pallet orders. You could become a trusted reseller. So they got some cool options. Again, keeping that cost per cup way down. And I've been able to feed a lot less of this food than I have with some other brands out on the market. So check them out at inukshukpro.com. Lastly, I want to thank Trinity Bretons. If you're looking for a Trinity Breton, if you're looking for a French Brittany, I will say, check out Trinity Bretons. They're developing some amazing bird dogs, and with high drive, good genetics and bloodlines. We've done a couple episodes with Jeff and Josh Ryder both, and have really been able to kind of understand better their philosophy and mindset around breeding and bird dog development. They've been a great family to connect with, and really thank them for their sponsorship of this show. So if you're looking for a French Brittany, get in contact with Jeff or Josh Ryder of Trinity Bretons, and talk to them about your hunting style, what your goals are, what you're looking for in a dog, and they can help match you up with the right breeding to get that right puppy that you are looking for. So check them out at trinitybretons.com. All right, guys, I think that is it for sponsors. We're going to keep this short and sweet. I don't think I have a ton of updates for you guys today. of course, we got another month of the Patreon giveaway happening. So make sure to get signed up on patreon.com if you're not already. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters out there for your support, whatever plan you're on. Really, really appreciate you guys helping support the show in that way. So big support there, or big thanks there. And I was going to say I will announce the winner on November 1st, which is crazy to think. We have November 1st right around the corner here. But November 1st, I'll contact the winner via Patreon or an Instagram message, whatever. Whoever I draw, I'll shoot you an email through Patreon, and then try to find you on Instagram or social media if you are, and let you know you won. So we got the Cable Gang's tie-out system up for grabs still. Incredible system here. We got a 2-dog system with ground stakes, or a 4-dog system without ground stakes. So you got some options, and we'll chat about that for whoever wins. So other than that, I don't really have any other opening comments or notes. Just got a bunch going on here at home. Baby's doing good, family's doing good, so I can't complain there. Just got a bunch happening here. The Mac dog, he's doing good. I had him out on some birds the other day, and he's doing good. He's a little tank right now. He's I'll need to do another episode on on Mac right now. He's retrieving actually really well right now, which is kind of nice. Whether it's bumpers inside or things like that. So I've been pleasantly surprised with his drive to retrieve right now. So haven't really seen that much naturally in Win Engage. They've again, at times they'll pick things up and all that good stuff. So it's been fun to see him develop and get even more bold. And I knew he was going to be a bold pup when we picked him up, and that's continued. That's definitely continued. He's a brave little SOB, and he's just showing a lot of good drive. So I'm excited to get him out there a little bit more. And but yeah, he's doing good. And so yeah, I'll update you more on that. But been a little quiet on social media the last couple of weeks. Again, just got a bunch going on at home with work and all that stuff. So apologies, my social media has not been as vibrant, I guess, if we want to say. But anyways, I got a really fun episode here. Gary Shaw and I, it was a really good chatting with him. Gary and I have been talking over the last several months and just getting to know him a little bit more. And he's been slaying it right now. He's been getting after it in the bird hunting since this September, October. And I learned a lot from him, just on getting out there, trying new things, chasing new birds. So yeah, we'll dive into it right now. I won't pick it apart any further. So hope you enjoy episode 64 with Gary Shaw. That's awesome, man. Well, Gary, thanks so much for jumping on this, man. Why don't you kick us off? Actually, before you kick us off, I gotta ask you a question. You made a post right before the season started. What's better in your mind? Is it August 31st or December 24th? Christmas Eve or the day before September 1st?
It's not even close for me. It's August 31st.
I got a big kick out of that because the excitement, man, the anticipation as you're like heading into September. I mean, there's nothing better.
I get wound up in like the beginning of August. I'm like, man, we're down to 30 days, and just every day you look at, like, me and my buddy Douglas we had that Montana trip planned, and every morning, like, I wake up early, like 4 or 5 o'clock, and he must wake up like 5 minutes before me, because every morning I'd look at my phone and he's like, 29 days, 24 days, 20, every morning I was like, hell yeah, this dude is more fired up than I am.
That's hard to find. I'm sure. I could tell your enthusiasm, man, just from some of your posts, and you were just pumped.
Yeah, I was really excited. We kind of went a couple different directions where we were going to go, for the opener. And my dogs were up in, they were on Lemon, South Dakota, kind of on the North Dakota border. And I was going to run up and grab them, then come back and run out to Colorado and hunt Columbian sharptails and blue grouse. And I was like, man, we're that far north. Let's just shoot over to Montana. And it worked out. It was great. It was, one of the best hunts I've been on.
That's perfect. Did you hit Nebraska on the way up or no? Or on the way back?
We did both.
Both. Okay. I was gonna say, I thought you were in Nebraska for a little bit.
We're on our way up. I think I had shorts and flip flops, and Douglas had sweatpants and Crocs on, and we're driving down. We're about to Valentine. I was like, man, I know a spot. Like, it's not too far off the road. I said we should probably just at least go let the dogs out to go to the bathroom and maybe take our guns with us. So we whipped off. It's maybe a mile over there, and I'd been there 2 or 3 times and got into Sharp Tails, and
Nice.
we went over, we dumped my wire hair out and his lab, and I think that was it. Grabbed our guns, threw our bird vests on.
Did you guys wear Crocs? Did you guys wear Crocs hunting?
I had gloves on. He had his Crocs.
That's awesome.
Like, we didn't even 100%.
That's the most badass thing I've heard all day.
It was. So we climbed this damn barbed wire fence in flip flops and shorts and Crocs and sweatpants, and first shells through the shotgun of the year, and we made it up to the top of the hill. We're in the sand hills, and my wire hair just slams on point right in front of Douglas, and I was trying to grab my phone out of my pocket, and I wasn't going to make it over there. He was right there, and I was like, man, he's on it. One gets up. I think he might have maybe missed the first bird, but the second one, he drilled it, and I think another one flew over me. Maybe I shot it, and I think we ended up with a couple birds out of there, and that's all we wanted to do.
Yeah, just quick rip and
pound a couple and hit the road. So we were there we weren't there 10 minutes.
Okay.
And threw the birds in the.
Dang.
I think we threw them in a Walmart bag, threw them in the coop. Road, still had our flip flops and Crocs on.
I love this. And then off to Montana.
I'd already hunted chickens in Nebraska maybe once or twice, or this was maybe the September 4th or 5th, or I mean, I'd hunted a couple times already up there.
Okay.
Not that far up, just in Nebraska where I'd been going.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, man. Let's back up a little bit now. Just introduce yourself and put us on map. Where are you talking to us from? And give us a little overview. Who's Gary Shaw?
Gary Shaw. I grew up in Northwest Kansas. My kids over here making.
Oh, they're probably having a blast with this.
Grew up in Northwest Kansas. Grew up hunting. I've hunted since I was a little kid. My family farms. We farmed here for, I don't know, I think my great grandpa, started the farm, and my grandpa bought ground, my dad bought ground, and I've bought ground, and
that's awesome.
We've been here. I've been here for 40 years.
Oh, dang. See, you've seen some things.
Yeah, I've never left, really. Been here.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What? So you grew up hunting. So was this just part of your DNA? Just like you're born and you start hunting. Like, what was that in your family? Was that just kind of part of your family tradition?
Yeah, my dad didn't really bird hunt much. He would go deer hunting. He was one of those guys that would, go out opening weekend of rifle season with his buddy or my grandpa, and run around first good mule deer they saw, and he wasn't real hardcore like I am.
Kind of casual.
My grandpa he hunted a lot. He not as much as me, but he bird hunted a lot. He more was just into pheasant hunting. He would hunt pheasants every day. From the beginning of season, he'd always leave like the day before Christmas. I think he would get grandma gathered up, and they would get out of here before they had to buy Christmas presents. So.
Nice.
And he'd Texas every winter, but he hunted from the beginning of November till Christmas Eve every year.
Okay.
So he's kind of the one that got me into it. I had a neighbor that lived down here, my grandpa's buddy, that took us a lot when we were little too, and he probably hunted with us more than anybody.
Yeah. And who was that again? Is that your grandpa?
It was my grandpa's buddy.
Okay.
He lived a couple miles south of where I live, and he always had setters and Brittany's, and
So what?
We
So I guess what, and then took it kind of, again, doing it as you were a kid, seeing your grandpa, your friend, your buddy, or your grandpa's buddy. Like, I guess where did it take off for you? Really, like, what was the tipping point for you that you're like, all right, this is it. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting the dogs.
it wasn't that long ago, to be honest. I've always had dogs and I've always hunted, but I never traveled anywhere. I was it's kind of the same. I just I thought there was pheasants and quail in Northwest. And I didn't know about that much
Sure.
else. Then in high school, we didn't hunt as much. It was girls and sports and Bud Light and
What else? What else could you need?
yeah, there was nothing else in life. We would still hunt. My buddies and I'd go to. There's a lake a couple an hour east of here, Webster. We'd go down and it was the closest quail we had. We didn't have quail here when I was a kid. We'd go down there and hunt quail, and it was public,
Yeah. Okay.
That was like if you traveled to Webster, like you're crazy, like
because there's no birds that people are like, don't go there.
Yeah, it was nobody traveled to hunt. Nobody that I knew, anyways.
Golly. So last couple of years, kind of when you really got into it hard, or
I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
I met. Do you know Dylan Waller?
I don't think I do.
He lives in Denver. I was Facebook friends with him, and I saw that he came out and hunted with this dude from Oakley, Jim Millencypher. He kind of puts on the governor's hunt out here at Colby.
Okay.
So I met those guys, and then kind of got to be friends with them. The next year, they invited me to go to Nebraska for the opener and hunt sharptails and chickens up there. And shit, I've been in like I don't know how many states since then, but that's what kicked it off. We did that. We went to New Mexico and hunted. We went to Arizona and hunted. We went to Colorado.
Okay,
and hunted
so that was a tipping point there. That Nebraska trip.
It was like 7 years ago.
Yeah. Did you ever hunt sharptail prior to that trip, or was that your first experience?
No, I never did.
Okay. Because again, you kind of mentioned a second ago, you kind of, I guess, grew up quail and pheasant, right? Like that's all there was?
Yeah.
That's similar to me. Growing up, I thought there was pheasant and quail.
Yeah, there wasn't even that many prairie chickens around. We just kind of I'd shot a few, but not like I do now.
Yeah.
I didn't really. It was just we hunted. We have so many pheasants like on our farm that we could go out and hunt out our back if we wanted, and that was all. We didn't really know any better, to be honest.
Totally. That's cool, man. What's the season been like for you? When you and I are talking right now, we're still in September technically, and you've hit it hard this month. You've hit it hard. So what were some of the highlights this past month for you?
It's all been a highlight, to be honest. I've hunted with some buddies, and the Montana trip was amazing. We came back with our possession limit of every, huns and sharptails and sage grouse, and we had to buy another cooler when we were out there. Actually, I was getting ready to buy one, and I got a buddy in Broadus that stuck one in my pickup at night. He's like, "Hey, don't go buy a cooler. I'll just pick it up from you sometime." But so we had to get another cooler to bring our birds home, and that was fun. Anytime you shoot a chicken's fun. I hunted chickens a couple of days before I went, and
you hit the chickens pretty hard. Looks like.
Yeah, the first chicken it was September 1st if shooting light was at like 6:45, it was 6:47. I had a bird in my hand. It was
right off the bat.
Chicken that year. I don't know.
You just want to be the first.
I don't have to be the first, but it just worked. A couple buddies who came down from a buddy from Utah, UB Giverson came down and hunted. Tyler Sladen from Mexico came and hunted. We killed a lot of chickens. And
that's awesome, man.
We worked our butts off. We walked a lot of miles. And it was hot, and we went through a lot of dogs and a ton of water.
Gosh, between the three of you, you've probably had over 10 dogs on that chicken hunt.
I think Tyler has 15.
Oh, geez. So you had the dog power.
We had dogs.
That's always good.
We have 5, I guess. Ryan has a cocker, and I have a wire hair and 3 setters.
Okay. So dog power was no issue. But again, in the heat, you're rotating dogs pretty often. So
by the time he left, my dogs were shot. My wire hair and my because I sent Belle off to do the field trial thing, so I was down to. She went to Montana with me, but she didn't go. She went with Matt right after we got back.
So did you hunt her in Montana after you?
Hunt her a lot in Montana. Okay. She was incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then we were talking a little bit ago, I think before we were recording, but now she's off doing some trial stuff, right, with the trainer?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. She went to like a summer camp with Matt Cochran. He's a pro field trial dude.
Yeah.
Both of my sisters did, and he really liked her. Wanted to campaign her this year and some derby stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Did you have any idea she kind of was that caliber dog before you sent her off to him, or?
No, I always thought Rose was better, to be honest. But Rose is 2 and Belle's 1. Belle did good last year, but she was a train wreck most of the time. She'd find birds, but a lot of times you didn't see them until they were flying. One time in particular, took her chicken hunting and dropped her out. She's the only one I let out, and she kind of pointed a chicken or a pair of chickens, and they flew, and she chased them, and 45 minutes later, she was still chasing chickens, and she'd probably kicked up 70 or 80 in this one, half section of grass. She got excited.
She's like, let's go.
I leaned up against the fence post and just sat there and drank a Gatorade and laughed my ass off.
As you see all these chickens pour out.
Watching this 8-month-old puppy just have the time of her life,
That's good, man. That's probably good for you. Was that the 1-year-old or the older one?
The 1-year-old. Kind of got her here now. She'll actually.
That's all. Yeah. That's awesome. So are you going to, is it Belle or Rose who's with the trainer now? Belle. So are you going to run her in the trials or handle her, or are you going to let the trainer do?
No, he's going to do it. I'm bringing a horse. I'm going to go ride along and check it out. I've never even been to one. So.
Yeah, it'll be a cool experience, man. Get to see that and meet some people, see how the dog does, and
throw the old cowboy hat on.
There you go. There you go. That'll be a good time right there. Let's talk about your season. One thing I wanted to kind of ask you, again, you've been at this quite a while, and I'd love to get people's perspectives on like what have you've learned over the last, let's say, 7 years when you've really gotten into this. Like, I guess, how have you developed over the last 7 years as an upland bird hunter? Like any takeaways, any learnings that is, I guess, valuable to share with someone listening to this right now?
Man, you probably learn every time you go out, to be honest. I mean, everything's different. Every day's different. Every bird's different. Your dogs are always different. You just kind of have to figure each thing out. When we went to Montana, we had no idea what was going on, and we hunted some stuff that looked really good and didn't really find birds. And then we got into some places where there was a ton of birds, and we just kind of figured it out from there,
Yeah.
Every time's different. You hunt chickens, if it's windy, they're usually on the backside of the hill,
Or rainy, like I was talking to you about.
They're on the backside of the hill, or, a little bit lower. If it's hot and sunny, they're, up higher. And, sorry, hold on.
No, you're good.
Ryan. You can talk, man.
This is I don't care. Dogs barking, people talking.
Ask me. No,
slipping you notes as you're talking on the podcast.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everything's a learning experience. You go to Arizona and hunt quail. It's just you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk 20, 30, 40, 50 miles before you do, but hopefully you figure it out.
Totally. That's a good point. I mean, like you said, every time is going to be different. Like every field, every walk, every new bird you try hunting. Like it's not going to be.
It's not work. do something different.
Yeah.
Don't just do the same thing every time. It sucks because there's birds there.
Sure.
They're just, I mean, I've seen so many old people just complain about no bird numbers. And, but they're hunting the same way that they've hunted for 20 years or 30 or 40 years. They walk the same field and hunt the same tree row. And it always changes. Everything changes. Habitat changes. This year was dry. It was hot in Montana, so we found more birds where there was water, or, really green grass, lower areas. There, maybe the cattail slough. There was more grasshoppers in places where it was greener. It was just got to figure it out. Adapt. You got to adapt.
So here's a follow-up question with that. Like, when did you figure that piece out? Like, what you got to adapt? Because I think a lot of us just fall into our normal, all right, we're going to hunt the birds the same way we always do. It's like, were you just wired that way, or was there a point where you're like, all right, screw this, I'm gonna switch it up?
Wired that way. Just growing up on a farm and being around animals and cattle and birds. I've been around all the time, hunting deer, and if it's 100 degrees, hunt by water. If it's snowy and shitty, hunt by cover, and just kind of got to think. If you were a bird, where would you want to be? Kind of how I look at it.
Think like a bird, man.
It was 103 degrees when we pulled into the town in Montana we hunted. I was like, they're going to either be, by water or shade, and the huns were, if there was a tree, there was 40 huns under it. And if there was, water, there was sharp-tail within a quarter mile of it. It was just figured out. It wasn't rocket science.
Totally. Water's a obvious necessity. And so you're like, all right, 101, let's go to water.
If there's a good looking patch up on top of a hill, but there's no water and it's 100 degrees, there's probably not going to be birds there.
Sure. It doesn't make sense.
It's kind of nice. Get on Onyx and you can figure, you can see ponds and you can see the drainages, and you don't even have to go look at it. You can kind of figure it out. Onyx is the best thing.
It's the best thing to come out ever, period.
Yeah.
It is nice. I was going to ask about, it's like, I guess summertime. Again, I know Kansas was super hot and dry this year. Do you do much scouting around, like, for new areas in Kansas, or you just kind of, hunting season comes and put boots on the ground, start walking?
Yeah, put boots on the ground. It's right where I'm at. It's kind of hard because there's, a lot of crops. It's probably 80% crops and 20% grass or, wasteland. So there's not much scouting to be done here. You see birds on the road, and there's always birds here because there's irrigation, but it was real dry.
Okay.
There'll still be birds. It's not going to be good.
Sure.
But
yeah.
I don't scout much. I spend the summer and spring, summer, like working so I can,
so you can take time off and hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best plan. Last thing I want to ask you about, are your kids, and you got a couple kids, are they involved in hunting, outdoors? Like, is that just, again, I know you guys live out in the country. Is that part of your lifestyle? And are they into bird dogs and hunting and all that?
Yeah. The boys are. Ryan and Cooper both, they love to hunt. Ryan, he has a cocker. I think hi, lady. She's running somewhere. There she is. This is Ryan's little mom.
Oh, nice.
Here. She's usually within 2 or 3 feet of you, like staring.
The cocker craze continues. I think I joked with someone last time I recorded one. I think it's been like 7 episodes now where a cocker has come up in the interview, just naturally, not planned.
Yeah, she's sitting right here, just staring at me.
That's awesome. How's the cocker introduction been? I mean, how's it been hunting with the cocker? Do you have any experience with them before, or was this kind of just hey, let's try one?
So we went to Arizona a couple years ago, me and Ryan. We can, go off your first question. Ryan and I went to Arizona two winters ago. And I think we left Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, hauled ass, got down there and hunted. I don't know if we hunted with Tyler lives in Albuquerque. I don't know if we met Tyler there or I think we went on to Arizona maybe. But, yeah, we went on to Arizona because we dropped dogs right by the New Mexico Arizona border. We hunted till noon or whatever. Shot, I don't know. We shot a lot of birds. We shot, you know, I don't know what the limit is, so I'm not going to say how many we shot. We shot a pretty fair amount of birds. I mean, 7 or 8 or whatever scalies, and probably more gambles than that. We shot
Sure.
15 birds maybe. We didn't go over the limit. And I was like, "You want to go try to get a Mern so we can get a desert slam in a day?" And he's like, "Might as well." So we haul ass. Like it's like another couple hours probably to where there's Merns, or 3 hours where I knew to go. And we get out. We had maybe an hour left of daylight, and we dropped dogs and did a big loop and didn't find any. We're almost back to the pickup, and my wire hair, she's really good at Mern. She's kind of a little slower, more thorough. Man, she like started tracking some birds. You know, she tracked them at least 100 yards and went up the hill, got above this cedar tree, and just locked on. I'm like, "Ryan, get up there." And he went around the edge of this cedar tree, and this quail jumped up, and he smoked it. So he shot a scaled quail, a male gambles, and male Merns in
a day.
One. And I was so freaking excited. I was jumping up and down, like yelling. I was like, man, it was like the first time I ever shot a bird. I was that. I shot a desert slam in one day in Arizona, the first day we were there. And I look over, and my other dog's pointed, and I like walk over there, and I shoot one too.
Oh, no way.
And then he's like just as excited for me, and we, high-fived and walked back to
cool.
And we were like trying to take a picture with our phone, how you can like set the timer or whatever, and our dogs wouldn't sit still. I mean, it took us like 10 minutes to get a half-ass picture.
Yeah.
it took, but anyways, we got it, and it was fun. I sat there and drank a beer, and we talked about how good the day was, and
that's awesome, man. That sounds like a one for the memory book for sure.
It was. I think I might have posted about it the other day, but that was probably the best day I've ever. I mean, I've killed more birds and I've had more successful hunts, but that was like the most successful hunt. Like to me, doing that with him.
Yeah, new area, new experience.
We, I mean, he had a great time. I had a great time. We clicked like that. We always have. Me and him are super. It was just fun.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So was that before he got the cocker or after?
That was the beginning of the cocker. So Tyler played and showed up the next day or
with
the day
his cocker.
With his cocker, and Ryan loved it. He's like, I think we had a dog pointed, and Tyler's back with his cocker, and he's like, "All right, here comes the river," and he just like lets go, and she's like flying up and
does the cocker thing.
Yeah, like runs through the dog's legs and just Merns explode, and we like dump 3 or 4 of them, and from that moment on, Ryan was gonna have a cocker. It's like there was no
no question, just like all right.
Like so.
That's cool.
Kind of like an unfortunate deal. He had a wire hair that he bought on his own, and we let him out one night to run around right before dinner, and they got chasing something, and it got ran over. So
bummer. Gosh.
So then he got his cocker after that happened, and she's incredible. We've hunted with a lot of people, and we just keep getting compliments about how she's a beast.
That's cool.
I shot a limit of chickens the other day. She kicked up. I just had her out. I didn't even have a pointing dog out.
Oh, really?
They were so tired. They didn't even want the door, and the cocker would come out, and they would just lay in the box.
Whatever. Take the cocker.
So I let the cocker out, and I was just more looking for like where, I went to the top of the ridges, and man, her little tail started beating like 4,200 beats a minute, like.
That's get ready.
So I start getting ready, and chicken gets up, and I shoot it, and another chicken gets up and I shoot it. Another chicken gets up and I shoot it. And I just stood there, and she the cocker went out and got all 3 birds and brought them back to me. And she's just good.
That's cool, man.
90 degrees. I think we walked 39,000 steps that day, or like 39,900 steps.
Have you tracked your September miles yet? Because I know you've put some miles in, man. Say that again.
I'm at 300 miles.
Son, stop it. For you or the dogs?
I've walked 300 miles.
Oh my gosh, dude. You're killing it right now.
Yeah, I was ready I haven't hunted this week. I was ready for a break.
Oh, sure. Yeah, when you hunt that much, I'm sure your body and you're just mentally too, you're like, all right, need a little.
Our Montana trip, I think we drove like 3,500 miles. And
golly.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then Buddy coming out, Yubi comes out, Tyler comes out, everybody's like wants to come out and shoot chickens. And
sure.
I'm like, yeah, I don't say no. I never.
Don't. I mean, you can't. I mean, hunting season's short enough. I mean, you got to take the opportunity while you can.
Yeah, I don't ever tell anybody no. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, I want to get into chickens a little bit in a second here, but let's chat about your dogs a little bit more. So you got a wire hair and setters. For you personally, I know Ryan's got the cocker. What led you down the path of the wire hair and the setters? Pros, cons, like for you, talk about that a little bit.
I had wire hairs. I had 4 wire hairs before, and because I just hunted around here. They're great for pheasants and quail. It's always cold. They're good retrievers. They hunt. Everything we hunt around here is, smaller, like draws, waist draws, thick CRP. I didn't need anything that ran super big. So I really liked them. I mean, they were what I wanted to hunt here. And then once I started traveling, I was like, my wire hairs are, 50, 75, 100 yards tops away from me. And I'm like, looking around like, man, I wish I had a dog that was running over there like 400 yards and a dog that was running over there like 400 yards and
cover some ground.
Yeah. So I decided to try all my buddies have setters, or I got a buddy that has pointers, and decided to try the setter thing. And I really like them. They're nice dogs.
They do it for you?
Yeah. I usually run what I've been doing is running a 1 setter with a wire hair, so the wire hair will hunt.
Okay, a little closer.
She's starting to actually hunt with these setters and seeing them out. She's actually getting out quite a bit farther now, but she's a lot closer, thorough, slower. My wire hair is incredible. She's good no matter where you go. She's not as good on the prairie as she is, some other things, but it's a good combo. You got a 150-yard dog and a dog that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 yards out, and it really works well.
Totally.
Covering
their ground. Do you ever throw the cocker in the mix of that?
I almost dropped the cocker every time. When we last year, we hunted for 3 or 4 days, and I rotated all the pointing dogs, and I dropped the cocker every single drop in there.
Wow.
It never gets tired. That thing will go and go and go. I mean, it's literally the Energizer Bunny.
Just a motor on them, it sounds like.
Crazy. It will blow your mind if you watch this thing hunt.
That's hilarious, dude. I mean, they are all the rage right now. They sound like fun dogs. Sound like they're gonna find birds and do it well.
You get the right one. You gotta. I wouldn't just buy one from anybody. I mean, do a little bit of just like anything. I mean,
oh, totally. I was gonna ask, do you get into the bloodlines, pedigrees, all that for your wire hair, your setters, like, or are you not as picky?
No, I've gotten really picky. Back in the day, we'd buy a short hair from
Joe down the street.
And if it pointed a few birds a year, you had a hell of a bird dog. You're ready to stud that thing out.
Breed him.
We didn't know. the wire hair deal, I got a little bit pickier. I was a little bit more knowledgeable, I guess, at that point in my life. Not like super knowledgeable. I probably wouldn't have got wire hairs, but no, they're all, but you have to get the right ones. You got to.
Sure.
With the setters, I was super picky. I asked a lot of people, and there's a guy in Salt Lake City, Talmadge Smedley, and I think, man, he's breeding incredible dogs. Big running field trial. He hunts, chuckers and huns and the rocks and runs them off horseback, and he's building dogs right now. So
that's cool.
I talked to 3 or 4 guys, and they gave me a real short list of people they would buy setters from, and he was the top of everybody's list, it seemed like at the time. And so I called him up, and he's the nicest guy you'll ever talk to in your life. If you call Talmadge, you better plan on talking to him for 2 or 3 hours.
That's cool. I've heard his name tossed around a little bit. I might follow him online, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy you'll ever run into. He trains dogs and trains horses and does I think he does like the reining, the cutting and all that stuff on horses. The stuff you see on Yellowstone when they're chasing steers around. And
sure.
Or I think he does all of that and trains dogs and breeds setters, and but he's really good at what he does. He's really picky and breeds stuff. And
that's cool. So I guess, what are your dogs, I guess, excel in? Let's talk to setters just for whatever. Talk to setters. What do they excel in most for them? Is it their range? Is it their nose? Like what makes them special for you?
Both. They range a lot. They're really tough. They handle heat well. If it's 80 degrees, I'll drop them instead of the wire hair, just because they can handle it better. They'll still run their hearts out, and the wire hair will trot in front of you and say, "This is way too hot, bud. Let's go find the cow."
Like, I'm done. Let's go back.
Yeah, the setters will just keep trucking until that's so you just kind of bounce around between cattle tanks and keep them in water.
Yeah, dunk them.
Yeah, they're incredible on the prairie. Hot weather. They have huge noses and they run big and
they look sexy on point. I'll say that.
They are pretty. My setters, I'm going to say my wire hair is a lot better on like pheasants and, stuff like that. A little more closer type,
I was going to ask, do you run setters on pheasant really at all, or?
I do, but not when I'm with a bunch of people, because Belle will end up, 700 yards out.
Yeah, she's like, peace, I'm going to find the chickens.
Yeah, once a couple pheasants fly, she just got excited. She was a pup, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
They're young. They get excited and you just watch the field get cleared. My wire hair is a little better. The cocker's really good on pheasants.
I imagine the cocker's got to be, pretty damn perfect, right? Throwing them in the thick stuff.
Everything. Like, I love that dog. I hate that dog from like March 1st until September 1st. It's the most annoying thing you've ever seen in your life. You know how you see those memes when moms talk about going to the bathroom and their kids they can't go to the bathroom with their mom? That's cocker.
That's the dog.
If you get up and get a drink, that cocker is 4 inches from you. If you go to the bathroom, you have to shut the door. The cocker's staring at you while you're going to the bathroom. If you have to get up and get the door, like you look down and the cocker's like standing right there. But,
well, just a second ago, we were talking about the cocker, and you were like, you look behind you, you look to the side, you're like, I don't know where is that, and then you look at your feet, and you're like, oh, it's right there. Oh, that's awesome. No, there he is.
always.
Oh, that's too funny. You think you'll pick one up for yourself someday?
I'm gonna have to, because Ryan's going to college and he's not gonna leave his dog with me.
He's taking the dog. He's like, that dog's mine.
I think he's going to K-State, and the waterfowl hunting's like incredible down there. So
Okay.
he's probably going to take her. She's a good water dog too.
Really?
Gosh, she was probably like 7 or 8 months old last year. Him and his buddy shot, I think there was 5 of them. They shot 5 limits of geese, and she retrieved them when she was
wow.
like bonkers. Like, they were bigger than her.
Oh yeah, those Canadas get huge.
She just kind of drag them back.
That's freaking awesome.
Like, the heart on those things is incredible.
That's so cool. I mean, they're cool looking dogs, man. There's no doubt about it. And when they do their job well, that's even better.
Yeah, it's fun. She's fun.
That's so cool. I was going to ask you about training, but I know you sent your dog to a trainer up in, was it South Dakota, North Dakota?
Yeah, he's from Oklahoma.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of time in the summer to train, and access to birds is really limited. You know, I don't know where I would even go to get pigeons. Probably, you know, I'm 3.5 hours from a city, so.
Oh wow! So you're out there. I don't think you said. Are you south, or like central Kansas? Or
no, I'm northwest.
Oh, northwest. Okay.
I'm 30 minutes from Nebraska, and maybe like 50 minutes from Colorado.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're not too far from me.
No, it's just like 3.5 hours to downtown Denver.
Okay.
I can be at the airport in 3. But yeah, I mean it's 3 hours to birds or chuckers or whatever.
Sure.
So I don't do a lot of training. There's so many crops around here. There's not a lot of wild birds to run on.
Yeah.
So last year, what I did, and this worked really well. I hunted my dogs all season. I went to Arizona, I think it closes the 7th of February. I think I was out there the first week of February. So on the way back, I don't know. You know who Andy Taylor is?
Oh yeah. Yep. He trained one of my dogs.
Yeah. So what I did is just dropped him off at Andy's on the way back. I'm like, do your magic. I'm going to leave him here for months. And he put him on birds and got him, steadied back up. Because, after 6 months of me hunting them, they're not steady. They're
totally. You're like, all right, fix them now.
They're pretty feral by the end of the season, to be honest. And
totally.
So I dropped him off at Andy's. He did a really good job. Andy's an incredible trainer. Really like him. He's a good dude. And so he had him for a couple months, and I picked him up, and we did, just fun stuff. I take him out. We have a really big pasture, and I'll take him over, and there's some chickens in there, and I try not to run them too much on those. There's a big leg, so I don't really get them in there early, but we'll run them in there, after the females are all bred. And
sure.
I'll run them, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles, 3 or 4 times a week on my Polaris, and
sure.
Just keep them in shape. And then Matt Cochran stopped by. He's from Oklahoma. He stopped by and picked him up and took him to South Dakota, and ran him the whole month of August.
Oh, nice.
Horseback, and got him on wild birds, and got him in better shape.
Yeah, that's great.
Probably just keep doing that same thing, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of good routine, conditioning, using some trainers, using people who got the time, knowledge, experience, all that stuff.
Yeah, and good at what he does, and then Matt's really good at what he does too, and getting them on wild bird, getting them on sharp tails for a month straight before I'm going.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part. I mean, for a dog to get on those and get some experience. I mean, heading into the season, I mean, nothing better right there.
Yeah, it was perfect. They were ready to hunt what I was ready to hunt, And
yeah.
It's like picking up a dog the 1st of October, They've been hunting for a month already.
Totally. They're like, all right, we've been doing this. We're ready.
Hell, too. We stepped into Montana, and those dogs were
dialed in.
They were on their A game. It was, and we killed it, man. We left that state with a lot of sharp tails, and we're not.
That's awesome.
Dogs.
Yeah. Sounds like a good trip. All right. Last thing I kind of want to talk about here was prairie chickens. Again, I know you've chased them a lot from our conversations. Let's talk about prairie chickens a little bit. I guess let's talk about prairie chickens in Kansas and I guess how to hunt them. I guess if someone's out there listening saying, "Hey, I'd love to chase chickens someday," like what are some basic things that they would need to know?
Cool. My favorite thing about prairie chickens is they're like the native bird here. They weren't shipped in from China like pheasants, and I'm not a pheasant. Like, I don't really like pheasants.
But you got the Pheasants Forever hat on, man. Come on.
I love pheasants forever, but I love pheasants. I love.
I'm with you.
So they're my favorite thing to hunt. They're everybody. You always see online people are talking about the what bird is the king of the.
I saw this post the other day on Facebook, and I saw your comment.
It's not a rough grouse. It's in my opinion, it's a prairie chicken.
And why is that? Why is prairie chicken the king?
They're not easy to hunt. I mean, you gotta walk, and your dogs have to have. You just can't. They're tough. They're a tough bird to hunt. They're wild. Sometimes they're hard to point. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're dumb, but more often than not, they're. If your dog takes one too many steps, they're gone before you're close, and sometimes they're in the field. Sometimes that you find a cubby quail. That cubby quail is going to be there all year. They're close within a couple 100 yards, 300 yards. That cubby quail's always there. You might hunt a pasture and there'll be 20 chickens in it. You might hunt it 4 more times and there's nothing, and then the 5th time there's 20 birds in it again. They fly 2 or 3 miles, 4 miles, and they change their patterns with. Right now they're feeding on grasshoppers. And
sorry, real quick to back up, I don't want to gloss over what you just said. It's a pasture. Are you hunting them in the same as you would a sharptail, like grassland, or actual pasture land? Is there a difference?
No, it's the same. Like grass.
Same thing.
Grassland, like
short grass. Okay. Native. Short grass prairie.
Yep.
Okay.
They change their pattern though. As crops get harvested, they'll start flying out into the grain. But right now they're just feeding on grasshoppers. So just figure out where they're at, but they move. Like there's not a lot of public ground out here. Maybe what I don't know, 5% of it's public, 10%. Sure. You get on Onyx, you can tell, but they might be on this half section of grass one time, and the next 5 times they might be
switched
half mile over here in the neighbors that's private.
Yeah.
So you just have to walk. It's just a ton of walk. Me and Tyler walked 40,000 steps like 3 days in a row, and the probably the second day maybe we probably didn't shoot a chicken until we had 38,000 steps done. We walked and walked and walked, and our dogs bumped a little group of them, and you just keep going and drink a lot of water and keep walking. If you get discouraged easy, don't hunt chickens, because
that's good advice right there.
I hunted 3 days in a row and I had never fired a shot. Last week I kill a lot of chickens, but I don't post the bad days that often.
Totally.
I mean,
you're out there walking, man. You're putting in the time, and we all say it like putting the miles, put the boot leather on the ground. But
fetch and feathers. You got to keep kicking dirt.
Here you go. Bring it to life. Keep kicking dirt. But yeah, like you're saying, like you're not posting all the bad days. So I think there's a perception of people see people, whether it's you or whoever it is out there, posting a lot of birds. Like, oh, it must come so easy, or it must be so great. But again, you said there's days. I mean, I texted you a few days or last week or whatever it was. I was like, I put in 2 days chasing chickens. Dogs bumped them. It was rainy, windy, whatever. It was kind of sucky, but we all have those days. It's going to happen.
Yeah, like me and Tyler hunted that last day. We walked 40,000 steps, and we were done. I don't think we could stay. Well, 2 days later, Yubi shows up, and my friend Ashley, Ash and Cash on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
they showed up to hunt chickens, and we walked. I think I looked at my thing when we got back to the pickup. We walked like 4,700 steps, and we had 3 limits. It was 40,000 one day and 4,700 the next day, and we were done. It was 7:30 that morning, and we were walking back to the pickup.
Yeah.
driving 2 hours home. It was just like some days and we didn't even get a hunt where we wanted to hunt. We pulled up and somebody was just dumping dogs out, and we're like, shit. So we got on the
change the plans.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? And there was something 10 miles away, so we hauled ass there real quick and dumped dogs out. We were done. We walked a couple miles and we were done. And I was glad those people were there.
Yeah, man, that's a good takeaway. I mean, honestly, for anyone listening, of whether you're new to hunting, whether you're not, whether you've been doing it for 20 years, like it's a good reminder of like you're going to have your sucky days, and you got to put a lot of time in the ground.
You do. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's tough. First time I went to Arizona, I'd seen pictures of my buddies down there, hunting scaled quail and gambles, and there's like lines of them on the tail. We got there and we walked and walked and walked. I was like, man, I thought this would be a lot easier. And I'm like, where the hell did you find these birds at? And he's like, man, just keep walking. We just run into them. And then like we popped over a ridge, and before we know it, we have 15 of them in our bag, and it just keep
it changes. Kind of like the first thing you said when we first started this whole conversation was you mentioned like birds. It's going to change every day. Your timeout, every walk is going to be different. The dog, they're going to have a bad day. They're going to have a good, like, it's going to change time to time, and it's not all going to be the same every experience.
Yeah, there's different circumstances all the time. It's the dogs hunt different. The scenting's different. The humidity's different. The wind's different. Yeah. Temp's different. The birds, maybe they had this shit hunted out of them all week, and they're
scared for their life.
And, it's always different. Just keep going.
Yeah, I mean that's like last season for me. Did pretty well on the sharptail, did pretty well on the prairie chickens, and so this September went out like I was feeling confident, I was feeling good. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get into these chickens again, and I'm 0 for 3 or 4 trips now to Nebraska on chickens. So I'm like, all right, it's different. It's not the same as last year. It's
dry though. There's not as many birds up there. I mean, Nebraska. Yeah. I went north of. I went in like west central Nebraska.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you where I'm at, where I was.
yeah, don't do that.
I went up there and we went a couple miles and Rose pointed. It was like that day last week when it was like 42 degrees and it was windy and drizzly and it was.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I wore a hoodie this year, and I had 2 of them on. It was cold, and I pulled my gun up, and I knew I didn't get it up right when they were 3 sharptails, and man, I went boom, 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 and they kept flying, and I was like ready to break my gun and throw my. And I walked 10 more miles that afternoon. I never even saw another bird.
Yeah,
it's tough up there.
It is. No, I had a similar experience. Might have been within a day or so of that, because it was rainy, it was windy, it was really crappy weather out, cold. It was great. Dogs could run well. It wasn't super hot, but same deal. Birds got up, missed both my shots. I was like, crap. We got into one more group, but they were flushing so wild. I mean, it was windy, rainy, and they were just this huge group. Boom, took off. I'm like, crap.
Yeah. The next morning I went out, and Rose was really hunting well too. The 2-year-old, she ran up this fence line, probably 500 or 600, 700 yards, and pointed. And I saw her up there. All you could see was her tail in this grass, and the sun was just coming up. It was, if I would have had a big camera, man, it would have been. I could cool pictures. But I started working up there, and I have one of Tyler's pups, and she's just putting things together. This year she's just turned 1, and she popped over the hill and saw Rose pointed, and she's like, oh, there must be birds up here. And she just like ripped him. I was 200 yards away or 300 yards away. There was like 8 or 10 or 12 chickens there, and they flew away. And I was like, damn you. I was so mad. Another half mile, and Rose pointed. It ended up being a meadowlark, but that dog backed Rose from 70 yards away when she was pointing meadowlark, but not when she was pointing chickens.
It's a good story, though, honestly.
It always.
Those damn meadowlarks, man. There are so many of those birds out in the freaking prairie. Golly.
Their dogs don't point, and they're not being honest with you.
Yeah. They're so annoying. Well, Gary, this has been a blast, man. I've loved getting to chat with you. The last couple months, we've connected online a little bit, and it's been fun to get to know you a little bit more here on the podcast. So, one of the things I like to end with, kind of a closing question, is what advice would you have out there, or what advice would you have for the rookie uplander out there? Maybe someone there when they're listening to this, maybe they're in the thick of it of their first season. Maybe they're just getting into this. Like, what piece of advice would you share with them?
And don't expect everybody to hand you everything. Go wear some boots out. Wear your dogs out. Tired dogs, wore out boots are the best thing you can do. Just don't think it's all going to be easy, because it's not. It's
Yeah.
tough. Don't get discouraged. Keep hunting. Ask questions. There's so many resources. Ask the local biologist. Talk to the game wardens. Knock on doors. Talk to farmers. If you see a cowboy on a horse, say, "Hey, do you ever see birds out here?" There's a million resources. They're all different, but they all
Sure.
And go grab a cup of coffee in the gas station. If there's some old guys drinking coffee, go talk to them. Say, "Hey guys, I'm like up here looking for some sharp tails. You guys ever, hell, they're all ranchers or farmers, and
Totally.
They've probably been there for 70 years." And ask everyone. Just don't get on Facebook though and say, "Where's the best spot to hunt sharp tails?" Because you're probably going to get. But
Probably.
Go ask all the locals. Talk to locals, I guess, would be my best advice.
Oh, that's good, man. I don't think anyone has said that on this before.
Talk to biology. I think old guys at the grain elevator, old guys at the coffee shop, the gas station drinking coffee, they've been there forever. They know where the birds. They know.
They've seen the land. They live on the land. They're out there.
They're probably going to give you advice, and they might give you permission to hunt on a 10,000 acre ranch. You never know. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Can't hurt.
Be nice. Be polite.
Buy him a cup of coffee.
Yeah. That's
good, man. That's great. I love that. All right, brother. Last thing we'll wrap up here with is some rapid fire questions. So I'll just ask you a few of these, and you just give me your off the cuff answer, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Cool.
All right. For you, Gary, what came first, the dog, the gun, or the bird?
Gosh, probably the dog and the gun at the same time.
Okay. Combo package?
Yeah.
Nice. What gun are you carrying into the field, and why?
I have a 20 gauge Ethos. I like it. It's super light. I actually won it at a Quail Forever banquet in Sonoyta, Arizona when I was quail.
Oh, heck yeah.
I went down with a bunch of Pheasant Forever guys. And we were at the banquet, and I won it. It's my favorite gun I've ever had.
That's awesome, man. It's a sweet gun.
Yeah, I love it.
It is a sweet gun. Favorite breed of dog besides the ones you own. So I'm going to say no cocker either, because it lives in your house. So you can't say cocker, wirehair, or setter.
Probably I hunted with a really good Irish setter last year. It's a setter, but it's different, and it's not.
I'll let it slide. They're cool looking dogs.
Kelly Aitken, or I don't know how the hell you even say her name. She's one of my best friends.
Yeah, you told me about. Yeah, I want to try to get her on this podcast.
Yeah,
she sounds like a cool.
When Guantanamo Bay Irish or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm glad you know how to say it. Because I don't. Because isn't it like Qantas setters?
Something like that.
Something like that. Kelly, if you're, I don't know if you listen to this, but if you are, so I'm so sorry if we butchered your Instagram handle. Oh man! All right, a couple more here. One piece of gear you would never hunt without.
I love my bird vest. I have a hunt ready bird vest. I like that. I love my Kennetrek boots.
Nice, good boots, good vest.
Yeah. Other than that, I have some Sitka kind of thinner, stretchy pants. They're amazing.
Are they the ones with the cargo pockets on the side?
Yeah,
those are one of my favorites. I have a pair. They are phenomenal.
I love you can snag them on barbed wire, climb over They don't.
They're so nice, dude.
I love them.
They're so nice. And for me, I'm 6'5", and so they come in like a extra like tall size, and so they fit freaking perfect. They're awesome.
40% off code soon for giving you guys some love on here.
Yeah, right. I know. Send it my way. Come on. All right, and then your go-to snack on a hunting trip. It's like, hold on. Uh-oh, we're getting a live sample.
I do. This is the No Man's Land beef jerky.
What in the world? No Man's Land beef jerky. Look at that. All right, you're going to have to save me a pack of that when I come out there.
It's really expensive. This thing's like $28 at the gas station or Cheetos.
Oh.
And the reason I like Cheetos is because they don't get like broke.
I agree.
And they don't get you don't get crumbs. They're just still.
Yeah, but you get like the residue on your hands though.
Yeah, but I mean, you get a little sharp tail blood and little Cheetos when you lick them off. It's not a big deal, guys.
A little sharp tail blood and Cheetos. That's the best snack right there, man. I'm sure there's protein in their blood, right? Get a little extra protein in your system.
Protein and carbs right there. Carb blood.
So you're gonna start like draining the blood of a sharp tail and dipping your Cheetos in it. Oh my gosh! All right, beverage of choice after a hunt.
Man, it depends on if it's hot. Like now, like I love having a beer. Usually, I like those electrolytes.
Okay.
Electrolyte when I'm done, and a beer. And
we talking fancy beer, cheap beer, little Bud Light.
Fancy as
Bud Light. You're like, this stuff's like fancy wine.
It is 100%.
Oh, I haven't had Bud Light in a long time, actually.
It's pretty good. I'm not
mainly Coors here.
Anything like that. I think I'd rather drink water than.
Oh, Gary, this has been fun, man. Appreciate your time jumping on here and sharing some wisdom on chickens and sharing a little bit more about your season with us. It's been fun watching you chase those chickens and get out there checking out some new land. So
come on with me.
Yeah, I would love to. That'll be fun. So anyways, what are you, the Unhip Uplander on Instagram?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Unhip Uplander. So if anyone has questions, want to follow along on your journey.
On my automatic shotgun, my green corn seed hoodie that I wear, I'm definitely not hip.
I'm surprised that wasn't taken when you jumped on the old gram.
I am too. I was Gary Shaw, and I was like, man, I gotta step it up a little bit.
Yeah. I like it, man. I like it. Well, Gary, hopefully we get to hunt this season together. I'd love getting out there and connecting. So we'll stay in touch.
Cool.
All right, brother. Thanks again for your time, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. See you, bud.
Take care. Well, that's a wrap of episode 64 with Gary Shaw. Gary, thank you so much, man. That was a blast. Love getting to know you more your story, and just hearing more. I think one of my favorite things of this conversation was hearing more about that hunt you and your son had out in Arizona, both getting your limits of the quail slam out there. That was pretty special. You painted a good picture. It felt like I was there. Felt like I was watching this unfold. Clearly I was not, but that was a good story. I think those are stories that keep us all motivated and keep us all coming back for more on days that aren't great, days that we don't find a bird, we don't bag a bird. It's days like that keep us coming back for more, making those long drives, putting in the work with our dogs. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate your wisdom and sharing your story with us. Hey, guys, don't forget, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure to share the show with a friend, whether it's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. Make sure to tag the Upland Rookie Podcast. I'll reshare some of those as well. So anyways, hope you guys are enjoying this. We got a ton more great episodes coming up up this fall for you. And so make sure you are subscribed on whatever platform you are listening to this from. Make sure you're subscribed so you're getting all the latest episodes coming right to your feed. So anyways, I hope everyone's doing well and having a great fall season so far. I will talk to you guys next week. Until then, put some miles on those boots and follow your favorite bird dog. Take care.